Let's add some text to this layout. There's three things that I want to do. Down here at the bottom in this yellow section, I want to add some text that goes straight across like this, just a catchphrase and a phone number. At the top, I want it to appear to arch with this shape, so I'll need to create a path with the pen tool and then tell the text to follow that path. In the center, I want the text body to wrap around this toucan, so I'll need to draw a shape and then I'll tell the text to stay within that area. Okay, let's get started. First, let's do this bottom section. So go ahead and click on the Type tool, looks like a letter T on your toolbar, and then click on the area that you want to type across. Just click once. Go ahead and type your message. Okay, and then we want to open the character menu. So go to Window and choose Type, and then choose Character, and this menu will come up. Now you want to make sure that all the options are showing. So if all the options are not showing, double click up here on the tab where the word character is, and keep double clicking it until you see the most options available. And that'll open the full menu. Here's how this works. Just under the Character tab, you can see the name of the font. And just to the right of that name, there's a little black triangle. Click on that black triangle and a drop-down menu appears. You can use this drop-down menu to find the font that you want to use. When you find it, click, and notice that it changes. You can also change it by highlighting the name and then typing the font name and hitting enter. And another very useful way to find your font is by highlighting the name and then using the up or down arrow on your keyboard. And each time you press it, it changes to the next one in line. This is a very useful feature if you don't know which font you want to use, because you can preview different options. Okay, once you find the font that you want to use, you can change the style. Right here where it says regular, there's a drop-down menu and you can choose italic, bold, or bold italic, just depending on what font you have. Some of them are going to be very limited and some not so much. So I'll go with bold on this one. And right here where it has an A and a V with arrows pointing left and right, there's a little number next to that. This is the kerning, or the spacing between the letters. And you can change it by clicking the drop-down menu and choosing either negative or positive numbers. The positive numbers are going to be more spaced out. So if I click on 200, you can see that there's a lot of space between these letters. And the negative numbers will be much closer together. Okay, you can plug digits in directly, or you can use the little arrows in between the digit and the A and V. Okay, that's kerning. The one that has two A's with the arrows pointing up and down, this is the leading, or the line spacing. We don't have more than one line, so it wouldn't do us any good here. But if you wanted to add space between lines, you would use this instead. Now let's go ahead and create a path for our title. I'm going to use the pen tool, so I'm going to click on the pen, and I'm going to click on point A. Then I'm going to click on point B. I'm going to click, hold, and drag. I'm dragging off to the right. Now I'm letting go, and I'm going to finish it by clicking here. So here's my path. You can see the line here. Now, if I go to the Type tool again, when I move the cursor closer to this line, it changes. It changes from having square brackets to having a cursor with the line through it. And that one that has the line through it is telling me that if I click now, then the text will follow a path. So I'm going to go ahead and click. And sure enough, now if I type, it follows the path. Now we can't see the text because it's black and the background is black. So I'll show you how to change the color here in a minute. Let me go ahead and type the title. I'll say check this out. Okay. I need to go ahead and highlight my type. So I'm going to click and drag. And so it's highlighted. And then I'm going to change the color. I'll click here and I can change the color here. See, now we can see it. So I'm going to make this text bigger. So I need to select it. And by the way, when you're using this menu over here, you need to make sure that your text is either selected or highlighted. You can select it with the black arrow, and then you can make changes here. Or you can highlight it with the text tool or the type tool, and then you can make changes. So you have to make sure that either one or the other is done. Okay, so I want to change the font and I want to change the size. This section here has a little t and a big T. This is the size. So I can use the drop down again here and change the size using that, or I can plug in the exact number that I want here, or I can use the up and down arrows between the two T's and the digit here. Okay, so that takes care of my title. Now for the text body. I'm going to go ahead and draw a shape with the pen tool. You want to make sure and close the shape by clicking on the starting point again. Okay, and now I want the text to stay in this area. So again, I'm going to click on the type tool and I'm going to bring my cursor closer to this shape and it's going to change. Right now it's got square brackets, and as I get closer I notice that it changes to round brackets. This shows me that if I click now, the text will stay inside of that area. So I'm going to go ahead and click. And now if I type, it stays inside that area. Of course, the text is way too big right now. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight it all. I can say select all. And then I'm going to change the size so that it's much smaller. And then I'll change the type. I'll go ahead and put Arial. And I'll change the line spacing to auto. And I'll change the kerning to 0. And notice that I'm getting hyphens here. You don't have to have that. You can tell it to take the hyphens off. If you click over on the paragraph tab and then double click until you see all the options, there's a hyphenate checkbox here. Go ahead and click on that. That takes the hyphens off. You can also justify the text here. So that's how you tell it to stay within a shape. Okay, there's a few things that I'd like to point out. Okay, sometimes you're going to want to use the eyedropper tool to recall these settings here. So for example, if I type something out, I'll just put recall. Right now, I have the same settings as before. Well, I want to change it to this. I can use the eyedropper tool. Okay, first select it or highlight it, then click the eyedropper tool, and then click on the one that you want to recall. And notice that everything has been recalled. The size, the color, the kerning, the font, everything.